Are you excited for Spider-Man 2 Venom? Are you a fan of buddy cop Venom? Good for you, I'm happy for you, but today we're talking about what most consider to be the weakest Venom ever put to screen. That is, of course, the one from Spider-Man 3, Topher Grace's version. As always, I'll be giving him a score at the end of the video, 1 out of 10, to find out just how good of a villain he is. Is he that bad, or has he aged pretty well? Let's find out.
I want you to kill Peter Parker.
Eddie Brock is a part-time photographer and full-time douchebag. He hits on women constantly, but it just comes across as creepy. He's super into himself, he's cocky, annoying, and easily the most hateable character in this entire trilogy. Worst of all though too, his motive is just all over the place and doesn't even make sense half the time. I swear, trying to decipher this guy is like trying to figure out who built the pyramids. Like, I don't know, maybe you know. We got some theories. When we first meet him, he's talking about how he's got a special lady in his life and he just wants a good job so he can provide for them. And I'm like, okay, that makes sense. You know, good job everyone, it's a solid character. Only problem is, he's just a creep. He's walking around telling everyone he's dating Gwen Stacy, even though they went out for coffee like one time and she never wanted to meet with him again. Is he delusional? A weirdo? Yes, to probably both. I know people like this in real life and they're just creepy, man. It freaks me out. I feel like when they were creating Venom as a character, they misinterpreted what it means when the character is scary. Going back to his motive, it's the big issue I have with Brock's character because it's just kinda lame, especially for the final villain in this Raimi trilogy. Like, let's break this down for a second, okay? In the comics, Eddie is humiliated by Spider-Man, but it's a way different thing. Here, he is investigating a serial killer, and after someone comes forward and confesses, Eddie publishes those findings because his publisher is pressuring him into it. Only problem is Spider-Man catches the real serial killer, showing that the guy Eddie thought was the killer was just a serial confessor. What is it in this movie? Photoshop. Yeah, Photoshop. Peter exposes him for using Photoshop to fake a picture, which they all treat like some high crime against Skyrim. Photoshop, misidentifying a serial killer. I wonder which one is worse for your reputation. If you look at the consequences, apparently it's Photoshop. How dare you, Spider-Man, get me fired from a job I didn't even have for 24 hours. Now, you must die. Yeah, it's pretty lame if you ask me.
Amazing night that we had.
We had coffee, Eddie.
If you haven't seen this movie in a while, you probably remember Venom in the movie, but you probably don't remember much about Eddie Brock, and that's because he's kind of a boring character. I want to talk about Topher Grace though, because I actually like him as an actor, and I think he's a pretty talented guy, but I think that we can all agree it's kind of a miscast. I think what Topher Grace does really well as an actor isn't given chance to shine in this role, and vice versa. I think what Eddie Brock needs as a character isn't the best fit for Topher Grace. Why I think he's a bit boring as a character stems from that motive, which I'm not a fan of, but also there's just nothing memorable about the character or just anything to talk about. He's not scary, he's not intimidating, not really developed in the character department, and let's just say there's a reason he's the only Raimi villain that didn't come back for No Way Home. The symbiote itself is kind of cool though, and I can respect them for at least attempting something new with the character. And I'm not saying the movie version has to be exactly like the one from the comics, but I just don't think it really worked out as well as they would have hoped.
If you do this, I will lose everything. There's not a paper in town that will hire me.
You should have thought of that earlier.
All the best scenes in this movie, right? None of them really involve Eddie. Sure, Venom is a little better, but he's in so little of this film, we're left spending most of our time with Eddie. He's almost like this side character for most of the movie, popping up to annoy Peter, and because of that, his scenes are pretty forgettable for the majority of the time. If I had to pick one scene for Brock that sticks out to me the most, it's probably the one where he gets the actual symbiote suit. If, of course, you ignore the whole, please kill Peter Parker line. The symbiote looks pretty good, the music slaps, and Topher Grace does a good job of portraying that fear turning into like excitement about his revenge for Spider-Man. I think it's the best scene for Topher Grace in the whole movie. The ending is fine, but again, nothing really memorable about it. I like the moment when Eddie is taken out of the suit and we get our best look at the symbiote in its most natural form, but it's too short-lived. I just really wish it was longer.
This is exactly what I need to scoop Parker. Give me some of that web action.
The worst part of Venom for me is that he's just kind of a boring character. Topher Grace is an awesome actor who unfortunately is miscast, but that aside, I think the character of Eddie Brock lacks strong characteristics that make up all these other villains in the franchise: Goblin, Doc Ock, and even Sandman. The symbiote is cool, but I never really feel like it complements Eddie as a character. I'm gonna give this version of Venom a 4.
Together, he doesn't stand a chance.
Interested?
Thank you so much for watching. I make a new villain review every single Monday. Make sure you subscribe. You don't want to miss a single one.